Hello, I'm Santa Barbara County Sheriff Bill Brown. Welcome to this edition of the Sheriff's Roundup, as we highlight what's happened during the second quarter of 2017. This time we're coming to you from the beautiful Santa Barbara Harbor. The Sheriff's Office was proud to host the 123rd Annual California State Sheriff's Association Conference this past April. 55 of California's 58 sheriffs attended this week-long event, which was one of the highest attendance rates ever in the history of the Sheriff's Association. It was a wonderful week of sharing ideas, training, and showing off the beautiful place that we're lucky enough to call home. Here's Commander Craig Bonner with a look at just some of the highlights of that conference.
There's never been a more difficult time in our country to be a peace officer.
The key thing that's occurring during the conference are meetings, training sessions. There are some events that bring things down and put a little more fun to the program. One of the examples is the barbecue, and this is a well-attended event. Well over 300 people participated in the barbecue. It went really well. Tuesday was the events day, and this is a day when there aren't any meetings scheduled. But the sheriffs, the undersheriffs, and the vendors all go out and they participate in a number of different events. There's the pistol shoot, which was at the Santa Barbara Sheriff's Range and was run by our range crew, as well as various other individuals from our department that came in and helped out with that. And then there was the golf tournament at the Sandpiper Golf Course. Wednesday, have more meetings. They had a training session that was open to all law enforcement. Had Gene Martinez come in and talk about critical incidents involving officer-involved shootings. While the sheriffs were doing their business meetings on Wednesday morning and Wednesday afternoon, the spouses and/or the vendors were able to go on a couple of different tours, one of which was the Lotus Land Gardens, and the other tour was the Land Shark. And then we had the installation banquet, and this was attended by obviously all the sheriffs and undersheriffs, key CSSA personnel. Governor Jerry Brown attended. He was the keynote speaker and swore in all of the 2017 CSSA officers, including Sheriff Brown, who was inducted as the CSSA president.
Ladies and gentlemen, your president of the Conference State Sheriff's Association, Bill Brown.
On an overall basis, the conference went very well. As a testament to the men and women who helped bring this together and who ran the events.
Thank you, Santa Barbara County!
The attendees, they all unanimously said that they really enjoyed attending the conference and loved the way that the conference went down.
It was a great honor, not only to be sworn in as the new president of the California State Sheriff's Association, but to have that honor happen right here in our county. Putting on this conference involved a great deal of effort and work behind the scenes, and I want to express my appreciation to everyone that made it happen.
Breaking news today, the body of a missing South Pasadena boy has been found in the Lake Cachuma area.
The Sheriff's Office recently assisted the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department on a major case that had a tragic ending when the remains of a missing 5-year-old boy were found in the Lake Cachuma area. Aramaz Andresian Jr., known as Peaky, had been missing since April the 21st and was believed to have been murdered by his father, 35-year-old Aramaz Andresian Sr. He was seen at Lake Cachuma the same day that his son was reported missing. The Santa Barbara Sheriff's Dive Team, Search and Rescue Team, Mounted Enforcement Unit, and Sheriff's Detectives all assisted the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department in searching for the boy. Ultimately, Sheriff's Detectives and Sheriff's Search and Rescue Team members, with the assistance of a cadaver dog, located his remains. The father had been arrested in Las Vegas and extradited back to Los Angeles County and now faces murder charges. Sheriff's Detectives investigated a homicide in Orchid that occurred on Easter Sunday. 28-year-old Alise Marie Irwin was found shot and killed next to her vehicle in the 100 block of Goodwin Road in Santa Maria. The father of Irwin's 6-year-old child, 26-year-old Jorge Tovar Hernandez, quickly became a person of interest in this case and was ultimately arrested 3 days later and charged with the murder. Child custody disputes and domestic disputes can result in some of the most volatile and dangerous situations for law enforcement. Our hostage negotiation team is trained on how to respond to calls that involve barricaded subjects or hostage situations. As Sergeant Jason Grossini explains, the goal of this team is to find peaceful solutions to potentially life-threatening situations.
The hostage negotiations team has 10 members currently. We have 8 full-time members and 2 extra help members. It's comprised of sergeants, senior deputies, and deputies. We have a team leader, assistant team leader, and then all the team members. We're all cross-trained to handle every position. We train 12 times a year. Our most recent training, we set up a scenario where there was a domestic violence incident. One of the subjects was the victim, one was the suspect, obviously. The female victim was heard in the background by dispatch. No more, don't hit me, stop, that type of thing. So basically, he's not allowing us into the home, so we need to surround and call in and try to get the problem resolved. In a scenario situation, we set up the equipment, we designate the team positions, we have a team leader, a primary negotiator, a secondary negotiator, somebody's a scribe, we have operations officer, we have guys doing intelligence, meaning gathering information on the call and those involved in the call. And we do it just like we would out in the field, as best we can. The scenario plays out, negotiator speaks to whoever's on the other end of the line. And eventually, hopefully, if you did it right, the person comes out, everybody's unharmed. It's like anything in law enforcement, you gotta be flexible, you gotta be ready for the unknown or the unaccounted for to occur. It often happens with our job.
I mean, really what this comes down to is we just need to talk about what's going on, figure out what we need to do, what we can do to help, and then get out of your hair. But okay, well the problem is we're not going anywhere.
Negotiators have to be good listeners. So we talk a lot about ALS, active listening skills, and the ability to listen to someone, encourage them to keep speaking to you. That's the toughest part, is the first 5 or 10 minutes of talking to somebody on the phone, is to get a rapport where you and that person are comfortable with each other, because they're not going to come out or cooperate with you or do anything else you want them to do if you have no rapport with them.
I see this ending with everybody okay.
We're not here to solve a crime as H&T members. We're here to get either the barricaded subject out or the hostage released. When you're negotiating, you're in the moment, you're engaged with them, you're listening, offering solutions, but at the same time, you're trying to think a couple steps ahead as well, where you want this thing to go, because he's maybe making some demands or making requests that maybe you can or cannot abide by. Maybe you can make them happen, maybe you can't. Training's super important. Last year in October, we got called to Buellton for a subject that was wanting to commit suicide in a vehicle. They had him contained. We talked him out of it. He actually works in the Goleta area, so I know that his life at this moment is not what he thought it would be at that moment. It's worked out for him thus far, and that's just one example of helping somebody out. Negotiation skills, got him through maybe a tough time, and in the end, it's worked out so far.
Thank you, Sergeant Grossini, and everyone on the hostage negotiation team for being on call 24/7 and for the specialized work that you do to keep everyone involved in these tense situations safe. The Santa Barbara County Sheriff Fire Air Support Unit had a busy quarter. While they handled a number of significant responses, 2 rescues in particular made headlines. Copter 2 and Copter 3 responded to a call of an injured pilot who called dispatch after a small plane crashed shortly after takeoff in the Los Padres National Forest. Thanks to dispatchers who were able to determine the pilot's location, Copter 2 found the crash site, and Copter 3 was able to lower paramedics to extricate the pilot and fly him to the hospital where, remarkably, he survived his injuries. The successful recovery of the injured pilot by air support averted a potential all-night operation by ground personnel. Air support also helped rescue victims involved in a double fatal vehicle collision off Gibraltar Road. The fog bank cleared just enough for Copter 3 and a CalStar helicopter to fly in and perform this high-risk operation in the dark near a cliff where the vehicle had fallen 300 feet over the side. 2 young Ventura women, just 17 and 19 years of age, were killed in this collision. The driver, 19-year-old Brandon Woodward, received major injuries and was determined to be under the influence of alcohol. He was flown to the hospital along with another teenager who also sustained major injuries. Search and rescue hiked down to rescue yet another victim with minor injuries from the wreckage. They also worked throughout the night to extricate the decedents from the vehicle and lift them back up to Gibraltar Road. This tragedy is another sad case of the far-reaching and devastating consequences that drinking and driving can have. One event where we are especially concerned about incidents involving drugs and alcohol is the spring break party in Isla Vista known as Topia. While the once historically rowdy event has taken a dramatic turn for the better in the past several years with lower attendance and fewer arrests, this year was not problem-free. Here's Lieutenant Ruben Cintron of the Isla Vista Foot Patrol to tell us how Topia 2017 went.
This year, the Sheriff's Department staffed the unsanctioned spring break party out in Isla Vista known as Topia. We reduced the staffing approximately 2/3 of what we had last year. Last year, approximately 3,500 people attended this Topia party, and this year we estimated it between 6,000 and 8,000 people, so it had a tremendous increase this year in terms of how many partygoers there were out there. We had a few issues this year in terms of the parties. We had a student fell from a balcony on Del Playa and onto the beach and sustained moderate injuries and was medically transported to the hospital. We also had a deputy sergeant during an attempt to make an arrest sustained also moderate injuries where he sustained a broken hand and is still currently recovering from that. All in all, this year we were successful. However, we still remain a little cautious because it was a tremendous increase from last year. We had some larger parties and more incidents in terms of partygoers throwing bottles and it being a little bit more rowdy than it was past year. However, we were successful in dealing with those situations at the time. At approximately 6:30 or 7 o'clock, due to the festival ordinance, the parties died down. I want to thank the university for having their concert because that attracted a lot of people towards the campus and away from the Isla Vista area. So moving forward, we have cautious optimism. We're going to continue to analyze it and look at it to see how the culture changes over the next several months. And I also like to thank the UCIV students who have come out and have assisted in passing out water and ensuring that the partygoers know about the noise ordinance and the festival ordinance that is in place and trying to calm those situations down. They've been a tremendous help. Looking into the future, we hope that the students continue to keep this local. We want everyone to have a good time when they're out here, but most importantly is that we want people to be safe.
Thank you, Lieutenant Cintron, and everyone at the Isla Vista Foot Patrol, and all of the allied agencies and stakeholders who continue to work together to keep Isla Vista safe. 8 sheriff's deputies were awarded one of the highest honors you can receive in Santa Barbara County law enforcement for going above and beyond to keep the public safe. The deputies were among 20 law enforcement professionals honored with the prestigious H. Thomas Geary Award. Sergeant James Zabinden, Senior Deputy Michael Harris, Deputy Justin DePinto, and Deputy Michael Holland received the H. Thomas Geary Award for Valor for their response to an axe-wielding camper at Paradise Campground who was under the influence of methamphetamine and was threatening campers and first responders.
Going to put any of that out on the radio. Cover 2, they're actively fighting with the subject right now. He is not complying.
The deputies used a number of less lethal force options to take this extremely combative suspect into custody and to resolve the dangerous situation peacefully and without the use of deadly force. The deputies were also recognized with a Sheriff's Medal of Valor, which is the Sheriff's highest award for heroism. Sheriff's Special Duty Deputy Ray Gamboa, Deputy Bryce Bruning, and Deputy Jesus Gutierrez also each received an H. Thomas Geary Award for Valor. They were recognized for their courageous response to help save a woman whose vehicle had gone over the side of Highway 101 at 3 bridges and had caught fire. The deputies helped extricate the woman who was trapped inside the vehicle. The deputies also received a Sheriff's Medal of Courage for their actions. At the Sheriff's Annual Employees Award Luncheon, Sheriff's Medals of Courage were also given to 11 deputies who were involved in a dangerous pursuit and confrontation with a suspect wanted for the armed kidnapping and suspected murder of 15-year-old Pearl Pinson from Solano County. The suspect was pursued from Highway 101 at Buellton into Solvang, where he exited his still-moving vehicle and fired at deputies with a handgun. He was shot in the leg by a deputy and then fled on foot and into a mobile home. where he grabbed the keys to a truck and attempted to flee the scene. He was confronted and stopped by deputies and then opened fire on them also. The deputies returned fire and fatally injured the suspect, which ended this tragic situation and protected the community from any further harm. The Sheriff's Life-Saving Award was given to Deputy Philip Farley and Deputy Shane Moore for the life-saving medical care that they provided to a man having a heart attack at a Goleta business. Special Duty Deputy James Karowski and Sheriff's Deputy Bradley Adams also received the Sheriff's Life-Saving Award for helping to save a resident who was having a heart attack in his backyard at his residence in Santa Ynez.
Deputy Adams could not be with us today, so I will read this citation on both of their behalves.
Custody Deputy Crystal Batterson received the Sheriff's Life-Saving Award for providing emergency medical care to an inmate who was found unresponsive and not breathing in his cell. The Sheriff's Criminal Investigations Bureau received the Sheriff's Unit Citation Award for its outstanding work and teamwork throughout 2016 on a continuous flow of challenging cases. The 34 honorees from CIB included sheriff's detectives and their supervisors and support staff, as well as forensics personnel. The dedicated personnel worked non-stop from case to case and showed great teamwork and effort throughout the year. The Sheriff's Meritorious Service Medal was given to Senior Deputies Dave Robertson and David Valadez for their commitment and dedication to the Sheriff's Explorer program. We appreciate the work they've done to rejuvenate Explorer Post 32 and Explorer Post 830, both of which are now looking for new recruits. Richard Klein, the president of the Sheriff's Benevolent Posse, received the Exceptional Citizen Award for his outstanding leadership and his tireless efforts to help raise funds to assist the Sheriff's Office during these financially challenging times. Most recently, the posse raised funds to purchase our Rural Crimes Unit a much-needed laptop computer and case. Thank you, Richard, and all of the members of the Sheriff's Benevolent Posse for all you do to help the Sheriff's Office. Lastly, Chief Deputy Sam Gross received the Sheriff's Distinguished Service Medal for his remarkable 46 years of service to the Sheriff's Office and the Santa Barbara County community. Chief Gross also received an H. Thomas Geary Award for superior performance, as well as a standing ovation from the crowd that was present. Sam, who was our most senior member of the Sheriff's Office, retired in July. Before he left, he took his last bicycle patrol shift in Goleta on the 4th of July. We'll have a feature story looking back on Sam Gross's amazing 4.5-decade career at the Sheriff's Office on the next edition of the Sheriff's Roundup.
You have a shoelace that needs to be tied.
The Sheriff's Office family was heartbroken to say goodbye to Custody Deputy Trevor Carpenter. The 41-year-old father of 4 passed away on June 14th after a valiant 3.5-year fight with leukemia. In 2011, the Sheriff's Office held a blood drive to help Trevor find a bone marrow donor.
Whether they end up donating for me or for some other person, that's really fantastic for the community.
Trevor was known for his positive outlook and his dedication to his faith and his family. He'll be greatly missed and remembered fondly by those of us who are privileged to work with him.
I will enforce the law courteously and appropriately without fear or favor.
The Sheriff's Office welcomed 19 new custody deputies who graduated in April from the Allen Hancock Corps Custody Deputy Academy. The graduates completed more than 220 hours of instruction designed to prepare them mentally, morally, emotionally, and physically to work as custody deputies. Congratulations to Brian Godino for receiving both the Valedictorian and Leadership Awards. We also want to welcome and congratulate 8 Sheriff's deputies who graduated from the Allen Hancock Law Enforcement Academy. Each of them worked very hard to make it to graduation day. They completed the California Peace Officer Standards and Training Basic course, which includes more than 830 hours of instruction. Congratulations to Sheriff's Deputy Trainee Robert Alvidrez for receiving the Leadership Award and to Deputy Luis Ruiz for receiving the Emergency Vehicle Operations Course Award. This is an impressive class and we wish them a great career ahead. The Sheriff's Office also recently welcomed several other new faces, including Sheriff's Deputy Oswaldo Lopez and Custody Deputy Jennifer Lopez. We also hired another group of custody deputies, including Bertine Hernandez, Dominique Peña Torres, Pedro Pineda Gonzalez, David Boslow, Aaliyah King, Jason Martinez, Keith McElvey, Rigoberto Mendoza Jr., Joe Al Ruiz, and Matthew Valdivia. We also hired new communications dispatcher Jessica Wallowit and 2 new administrative office professionals, Christina Miller and Veronica Romo. We're excited to have all these great new additions to our sheriff's family, and we wish them all a great career ahead. The Sheriff's Office is always looking for outstanding people to join our team. If you're interested in making a difference and having a rewarding career with the Sheriff's Office, go to our website at www.sbsheriff.org. 2 groups of Santa Barbara County residents, one from the north and one to the south, now know a lot more about the Sheriff's Office and what goes into keeping them safe after having completed the Citizens Academy. 14 people graduated from the North County Citizens Academy in April. This inquisitive group learned a great deal during their 8 weeks of interactive classes. 2 of the highlights were a presentation by the Sheriff's Special Enforcement Team and a tour of the Santa Barbara County Sheriff Fire Air Support Unit facility. Thanks to Senior Deputy Charlie Uhrig and everyone who helped put on the North County Citizens Academy and make it a great learning experience. 32 other Santa Barbara County residents graduated in May from a Citizens Academy held in South County and put on jointly by the Sheriff's Office and the UCSB Police Department. The participants ranged in age from 18 to 67, with very different backgrounds, life experiences, and perspectives. For information on how to be part of our next Citizen Academy classes, please go to our website at www.sbsheriff.org. Graduation ceremonies were held recently in both Santa Barbara and Santa Maria for 39 state prison inmates who completed a comprehensive reentry program. For the past 7 years, the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office, in conjunction with Community Solutions Incorporated, have operated day reporting centers in Santa Barbara and Santa Maria. These centers are places where former state prisoners are taught valuable skills to help them successfully reintegrate back into their communities. Santa Barbara Day Reporting Center graduate Mario Torres received the Client of the Year Award.
California has done an amazing job of approaching rehabilitation rather than retribution. And this is where people who have been previously incarcerated are able to get rid of that negative self-talk and be a productive part of the community and go into a day program like Community Solutions, and the influence has been great.
We congratulate all the graduates and wish them the best of luck in this new chapter of their lives. The Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Search and Rescue Team now has a new tool to help find lost people. After more than 3 years of training, MacGyver is officially certified by the California Rescue Dog Association as mission ready in area search operations. The 3.5-year-old red tricolored Australian Shepherd is specifically trained to work off-lead to find live and deceased human beings. He can do so generally without a scent article, and he's able to search in high altitudes and difficult terrain alike.
They're a tool, and they're able to utilize their nose to find a subject, a person who may not otherwise be found.
Thanks are due to MacGyver's handler, Rick Stein, for investing in and spending hundreds of hours of his time training this beautiful and talented rescue dog. Time is of the essence when looking for lost people, and we're lucky to have Rick and MacGyver right here in Santa Barbara County. The Northern Branch Jail hasn't even been built yet, but it already has a new mascot. Workers at the construction site found an abandoned kitten living in the base of a brick course.
We heard this crying coming out of the wall, like this meowing.
The kitten was happy to stay inside the walls, which of course was not possible. 6 hours later, when it was apparent that the kitten was not going to find its way out on its own, construction workers broke a hole into the wall to rescue the baby feline. They lost control of it and it again got into the wall, but in a location that they could ultimately reach with their hands. Once they finally got a hold of the kitten, they were happy to see that other than being a little scrawny and a little skittish, he was in good condition. A few names were tossed around for this cat, but Chapo seemed to fit. We're happy to report that Chapo is doing well. He's been embraced by his new Sheriff's Office family and will likely be a fixture at the Northern Branch Jail for years to come. He will hopefully earn his keep by keeping the rodent population down. The Sheriff's Office proudly continues our partnership with the Special Olympics. Sheriff's employees participated once again in the law enforcement torch run. They were among a group of 1,200 people who helped carry the flame of hope through Santa Barbara County. This is the 12th year in a row that Sergeant Dan Calderon has participated. In all, the flame traveled through 200 Southern California communities and covered 1,500 miles on its way to the 2017 Summer Games opening ceremony in Long Beach. Sheriff's employees also braved the chilly ocean water at Leadbetter Beach to raise money for Special Olympics. Thanks to the Deputy Sheriff's Association for once again being a sponsor for the Polar Plunge, and to everyone who represented Team Sheriff and was freezing for a reason. And finally, some elementary school students received some very important life lessons over the summer after a visit from retired deputy and DARE instructor Jerry Cornell.
A lot of times a bully does things because they know that they can get away with it and then they can control other people.
Deputy Cornell spoke to a group at the United Way of Santa Barbara's Fun in the Sun summer camp. Deputy Cornell talked about how to spot and prevent bullying. Fun in the Sun is a 6-week summer learning program for local, academically, and financially at-risk children and their families.
Thank you, United Way, Fun in the Sun, and Deputy Cornell. Bye.
The Sheriff's Office is honored to support this important program. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of the Sheriff's Roundup. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay safe, and thank you for supporting us as we protect your safety.